The kidneys are bean-shaped organs of the excretory system. Every person has two, and they are located above the waist near the back of the torso. In the medical field, the kidneys are commonly described as part of the renal system. The kidneys have several functions. First, the kidneys function to remove excess water and toxins from the blood. This helps to maintain proper fluid and substrate concentrations in the blood. Second, the kidneys produce hormones that regulate blood pressure, make blood cells, and promote healthy bones. The kidneys are the first organs in the renal system. The ureters drain into the urinary bladder, and the urine finally exits the body through the urethra. Let's take a closer look at the macroscopic anatomy of the kidney. Blood is pumped into the kidney by the renal artery, and filter blood leaves through the renal vein. The outside layer of the kidney is known as the cortex, and the inside is known as the medulla. Within the medulla, there are several compartments called the renal pyramids, which are separated by the renal columns. The renal pyramids go into the renal pelvis, which stores the urine before it leaves via the ureter. Now that we've looked at an overview of kidney function, let's explore the microscopic physiology of the functional units of the kidney known as nephrons. Nephrons are tiny tubules where the filtering of excess fluids and dissolved particles actually occurs. While the kidneys may seem small, there are between 1 and 1.3 million nephrons in each kidney. The job of the kidneys begins when you eat or drink. Nutrients not needed by the body may end up in the blood and are known as waste. Waste products, water, excess hormones, and other substances compose the filtrate. Filtrate is pushed through a small bundle of capillaries known as the glomerulus into the beginning of the nephron, known as the Bowman's capsule. The filtrate then travels through the proximal convoluted tubule, down the descending loop of Henle, up the ascending loop of Henle, through the distal convoluted tubule, and into the collecting duct, which lead to the renal pelvis. In each part of the nephron, water and minerals are exchanged between the tubules and surrounding capillaries in an organized manner that turn the filtrate into the final waste product known as urine. Since the kidneys are such an important organ in the regulation of the steady state of the body, commonly called homeostasis, diseases that affect kidney function can be especially detrimental and dangerous. One example of a disease that greatly hinders the filtering capacity of the kidneys is known as Goodpasture syndrome. While the disease also affects the lungs, here we will focus on the pathophysiology of the kidneys. What causes Goodpasture syndrome? To fight off infection, the body produces specialized proteins known as antibodies. In Goodpasture syndrome, the body produces antibodies that attack the lungs and the kidneys. This can be caused by exposure to certain viruses or the inhalation of certain vapors. Antibodies that attack your own body are known as autoantibodies and are the common cause of a class of diseases known as autoimmune disorders. In Goodpasture syndrome, the autoantibodies attach onto the glomerulus and recruit in other immune components, such as white blood cells, that damage the glomerulus, causing inflammation. Glomerulonephritis is inflammation of the glomerulus. If this happens to most or all of the glomeruli in the kidneys, the blood cannot enter the nephron to be filtered. Over time, this causes a buildup of toxins in the blood that can have fatal effects if untreated. Since the disease is caused by activity of the immune system, a primary method of treatment is immunosuppression therapy. With early diagnosis and proper treatment, Goodpasture syndrome is treatable and has a good prognosis.